So Mapbox is a startup in San Francisco, and the whole idea was like, how do we give developers for mobile phones the opportunity to make totally custom maps? So we power all the maps in Foursquare, GitHub, Evernote, Pinterest. MapQuest just switched over to us. When you go to weather.com, those are Mapbox maps. Literally, we have hundreds of millions of people hitting our maps every month. And over the interesting stuff is we've been growing. We're 150 people right now, and this whole mobile-first approach has now developed to the idea of let's actually take this into the car. About a year ago, we closed our Series B and raised an additional $50 million specifically to move more into mobility. And so it's been an awesome first day here at TU-Auto, really working and having conversations with so many partners with the idea of taking what we did in mobile and bring that into the car for consumers to be able to have a mobile-first-like experience in the dash, in the center display, and most importantly, give that control, the look and the feel of the dash back to the car maker. So you get to control everything in regards to the map and map display. And most importantly, we hope people are actually going to use their in-car rather than their mobile phone because of the data accuracy. So the data that we're now shipping is actually centerline-based data in addition to a larger road network. And I want to talk about this a little. This is certainly not a new concept in the area. But what's interesting is actually how we collect it, which is why I wanted to start talking about the mobile phone angle. So everybody that uses Mapbox, we're not just a map set of data that you buy. We're an API company that also has an SDK. So a developer, we don't have an app, right? A developer comes, grabs our code, and actually puts it inside their application. And then their millions of users go out and get to touch the map. As those millions of users are touching the map, we're getting latitude, longitude, timestamp, and elevation back. And it's all anonymized and aggregated. Trim the beginning of the trip, trim the end of the trip, don't store any user ID, chop everything into 5-minute segments, then blend it up with everything. That level of data fidelity that we're getting at scale is giving us not just a lot of GPS probe data, but then at scale, we're able to start analyzing it. How many lanes are there? What's the actual center line of this? How do you use other sensors, whether that's imagery or other sensors coming off the car, to actually verify those center lines? So this set of data that we now have is not just making a full road network, but it's also helping us identify directionality, right? What's a one-way? What's a turn restriction? What's a turn penalty? And it's constantly updating. And that ability to be able to identify road closures, be able to actually show certain speed limits, certain traffic junctions, it's this notion of a true living map that our network of all these app users is constantly feeding into. So in this set of data, you're getting not only a component for navigation that does turn-by-turn guidance and real-time data from a traffic perspective, but also these center lines. And that data isn't just to help you navigate and drive the car. That data is also the visual component that the driver touches and feels. And I want to now kind of go into the design component, because I think the design and owning that experience of the dash is the most important thing to get right so people actually start using this. Like especially as all these high def displays start coming into the car, what we can't have is them once again be something for you to put your phone on top of. Right? If we have this so that people are putting Google Maps or putting Waze on top of their in-car, they're just going to stop using this. So I want to show what it looks like to design a map. And this is one of the more fun parts. Everything you're about to see is totally open source. So OEMs can take the code, tier ones can take the code, integrate it with their proprietary systems, and not only customize the integration, but customize the look and feel. So one of our partners was like, well, look, traffic shouldn't be like an overlay, right? Traffic is my problem. So what would a reimagined traffic map be? I want to make a really stark looking map. I want to show high contrast. I want to be able to have the traffic pop out. No, I don't even know what, the traffic itself will become the road. And also because they're becoming more and more large center displays, and I want to be able to show a lot of high density data. I want to show satellite imagery. I want to be able to have contrast of satellite imagery both for daytime and nighttime, so I'm not being blinded by it. And being able to have this super crisp experience. Again, this is not new. This is what we're all on our phone. So what I thought would be a great way to frame how this is possible, and before I open this up to questions, is to show you what it's like to design these maps. And this is a follow at home demo later. If you go to mapbox.com, you make an account, you get an editing interface like this. It's we always call it, it's like Photoshop, but it's for maps, right? And that mapping data, you're able to interact with it. Again, this is for a car maker. This is for a designer at a car company, where an OEM can go in and say, you know what, I don't want just a map. I want to be able to make a nighttime map. I want to be able to go in there and click on, in this case, hey, let me just make the background dark. Let me get the exact shade that I want. Okay, cool. Well, now let me go make the buildings dark. Let me pull them up a little to make them more 3D, because I have this gorgeous 3D set of data. So being able to go in and customize all these different maps, right? Because you're going to have a different map for your phone, right? The actual phone on your the app on the phone that turns on the heat for the car or turns on the air conditioning is also going to have directions, right? And how crazy is this that you can, you get in an Uber now, you don't even need to say where you're going, but then when you go get in your own car, you need to turn a knob 20 times to put in your own home address, right? Like, no, you should be able to have it on the phone. Okay, that's going to require a certain kind of map. There's going to be a map for the center display. There's going to be a map for the cockpit. And those are like the two most basic displays. I mean, there's a minivan from Chrysler that now has displays in the back seat. It's just like with our partnership with NVIDIA, I think that the new chipset is able to run. I think it's something the P2 is able to run like 12 different displays or something. It's absolutely gorgeous. So as you're seeing here, this is a quick 2-minute walkthrough of real live editing. And you can do this today. You can go in and say, I want to be able to design the map specifically for the center display at night like this, and I want to control every detail. I want to make it readable at night because there's going to be glare coming off the road. Let me actually fix the font, right? But this is the level of control that we think automakers should have with their consumers. That up until now has been largely restricted by either poor tech, and the new cool tech that's coming in is largely black boxed, right? Where it's like, okay, cool. If you're going to get Google or Apple, you're going to get Google and Apple. But we actually think the car companies should be able to have the same level of control that mobile developers do, and this is the interface that starts enabling that, and then you can stream these maps out to the different displays in the car, and then enable turn-by-turn directions in the car. So I'm more interested to quickly bring everybody up to speed on what we've been building. Up until last week, we were really quiet. And so it's nice to finally be public about what we're doing in the car space. What's even more interesting is you're about to see us in the car much sooner than anybody expected. So we've signed a major deal with an OEM and are going to be live very soon. And more interesting, more than anything, we want to start having conversations with other car companies that want to take back the experience and actually make their in-car not just usable, but theirs and owned. The data that's powering these maps, again, you saw it coming from telemetry data. That also means data from your fleet can come back in and improve that map. The neat part here is that that data is not just anonymized, it's very basic data that we're taking back in. And this is important because what we want to do is not just build a map and a mapping platform. We want to enable OEMs to also have a data platform, so any data coming off their fleet, they own, and start gaining a level of data independence. I've had many conversations with folks that are a little nervous about some of the consolidation that's been happening in the industry. I get the fact that it might be kind of creepy, despite the company's independent, for you to be streaming data back to your competitors and helping your competitors out. I'm not sure I would be running a business and feel comfortable about doing that. And in this case, what we do is we allow OEMs to stream up their data to us and keep that in a private, secure environment and analyze that data and start building out their own data derivatives from that are specifically targeted to improving their drive experience in ADAS. So next thing you know, you start having certain car companies that are saying, hey, look, when we're driving, we're catching the logs and we're watching when self-driving goes out, at which point we say, no, we want to actually restrict self-driving only to these kind of roads. So by actually processing your telemetry data and using our platform, not just to design the map, not just to improve the experience in the car, but actually have a data collection platform and keeping your proprietary data yours, that's ultimately what we want to enable. So let me open this up. Let me open this up for questions and share a little bit about how this all works. I'll also add one of the neat parts here, all these street names, you don't get that stuff from sensors. All these place names, this is all coming from OpenStreetMap. It's like Wikipedia for maps. And what we do is we aggregate all of that and run a quality control processing pipeline on that. It's an amazing community of over 2.5 million users. And I'm sure, so let me stop there. We have a booth out there, and they're going to be having some drinks. But any questions before we go?